Good morning everyone. Today I'll discuss about the first periodic test of the session 2020-21 questions that you have already solved. Okay? Section A was your multiple choice questions. The first question was name the mother discipline of human geography from the following options. You must have given the first option geography. This is the correct answer, geography. Why is it? Because geography is divided into human geography and physical geography. And in your question, what is given? Human geography. And in option, it is given physical geography. So the mother discipline is your geography. Okay, the first one. Second one, geography as a discipline. Geography as a field of a study is integrative, empirical, practical, and all of these. So all of these would be your answer. Why? Because we have already studied about that geography is integrative. How does it integrate with other disciplines? And empirical, research and experiments and collecting data and all these takes place here in empirical and practical geography. Okay, so of course this is the all of these will be your answer. Third one, which of the following metaphors are used to describe geographical phenomena? Face of the earth, neck of the river, and organisms. No, organisms, that is what the town can be compared with organisms. Neck of the river will never be, because mouth of the river is there in geography, which we study. Face of the earth, this is your correct answer. It's only because face of the earth, everything, all phenomenal change that takes place on the earth's surface, and therefore we call it as what? Face of the earth. Face of the earth is dynamic in nature. Fourth one is synthesis is keyword in the definition of which geographer? See, all geographers, whether Blaschet, Griffith Taylor, Semple, Ratzel, all of them have given their different views on human geography. So geographer like Ratzel, he gave emphasis on synthesis, because Semple gave emphasis on dynamism, and then Paul Vidal de la Blache, human geography. Griffith Taylor, one of the concept which he had introduced, and that was what? Neo-determinism. So answer would be your Ratzel. Okay, and then in the fifth one, which of the following statement does not describe geography? An integrative discipline, study of the interrelationship between humans and environment, subjected to dualism, not relevant in the present time due to development of technology. Yes, this would be the answer. Why is it? Because this is, of course, we have studied about the man and human relationship. We also know about that the geography is an integrative discipline, and of course it is subjected to dualism. Why is it so? Because dualism, what do we study in dualism? In dualism, we study about that two aspects of any geographical phenomena. So the fourth one would be the answer. In which of the following, sixth is, in which of the following human was afraid of nature and worshipped it? Whether all these four options are given here, like possibilism, environmental determinism, neo-determinism, and none of these. In fact, in all of these option, human was afraid of nature and worshipped. In which one? In environmental determinism, because in the early times, or in the early days, or in the beginning, that the man was, or human beings, they were in fact influenced by nature, or nature dominated human beings. So answer would be your B. Which of the following describe the possibilism? This is another concept in geography which we have done. Movement of human from a state of necessity to state of freedom imprints of human activities are everywhere. Humanization of nature and all of these. Yes, of course, all of these. Why it would be all of these? Because in possibilism, in this concept, we study all of these three. Human dominated. Now at present, what has happened? That humans are dominating the nature. Okay, so humans have in fact humanized the nature. Humanization of nature, imprints of human activities everywhere with the help of technology, that you can see that we are modifying the environment, and movement of human from a state of necessity to state of freedom. State of necessity in the beginning when humans were dominated by nature, and now the state of freedom. We are free to grab, we are free to do anything as far as the environment is concerned with the help of technology, and we can modify the environment. So all of these would be the answer. Then the concept of neo-determinism is introduced by which geographer? Ratzel, G. Taylor, Semple and Blashy, and all of them have given their different views. So the concept of neo-determinism is introduced by Griffith, Taylor, Semple, Blashy, Ratzel. They have given their views on human geography. Okay. Now, which one of the following is not a fact? Ninth question. Here, what do you see? Human population increased more than 10 times during the past 500 years. Okay, and it took 100 years for the population to rise from 5 billion to 6 billion. And population growth is high in the first phase of demographic transition. So what is here? That human answer would be your human population increased more than 10 times in the past 500 years. Why? Because we know the concept of population doubling time. So on that basis, we can say that human population increased more than 10 times during the past 500 years. 10th question was which one of the following continent has the highest growth of population? It's quite obvious that this is your Africa. Okay, South America, Asia, North America is given where the population grew at slow rate. Now, which one of the following is not an area of a sparse population? What is that, a sparse population? Sparse population where you can see population is low, right? Very low population. So sparse is not an area. Your question is not an area. What do you see here? Atacama Desert, equatorial region, polar regions. All these regions are the regions of sparse population. So your answer would be Southeast Asia. Which one of the following is not a push factor? Push factors. What are those push factors? Which push you, the push factors are those factors which force you to leave a place. So what is given? Water shortage, unemployment, medical and educational facilities, and epidemics. So all these three, water shortage, unemployment and epidemics, all these can be your what? All these can be your push factors, whereas medical and educational facilities, that can be generated, that can be restored, that can be set up. Okay, so your answer would be medical and educational facilities. Now CBR, your 13th question was CBR. What is given? What does CBR stand for? Crude birth rate, crude bad rate, crude bifurcated rate, and crude beta rate. CBR in population, we have studied about CBR and CDR. Remember, crude birth rate, it is related to your population. So crude birth rate, when we have discussed about the population, we must have discussed about the birth rate, death rate, migration, in migration, out migration. So this is what crude birth rate would be your answer. The annual population growth rate in India is about 1.4%, 1.64%, 1.56%, and 1.69%. Your answer would be 1.64% because annual population growth. Remember, we'll have, what do we do in annual population growth? Annual population growth, we simply divide it. We simply subtract the two populations, the two census population, and then we multiply it by 100, so we get what the population growth. Now 15th was your demographic transition theory. First option 3 stages, second or B option 4 stages, C 2 and 5, D 5 stages. We have discussed about 3 stages. Remember, basically demographic transition theory has 3 stages. One in which birth rate, death rate was high. Second, birth rate remained high, birth rate a little bit controlled, and death rate remained high. Or you can see on the other hand, birth rate remained high, death rate a little bit controlled. And the third one, you can see that both the birth rate and death rate were controlled or is under control. So what is given here, that demographic transition theory has basically 3 stages. In fact, you can see in few books it is given that 4 stages, but in NCERT book it is given 3 stages. And we have discussed about the birth rate, death rate, and how did this birth rate and death rate get under control. So the answer would be your 3 stages. The first one, natural growth rate of population means births minus death, and the second one, birth plus death, and the third one is your in migration minus out migration, and in migration plus out migration. So you remember here what is given, natural. The word is given natural. So natural here means what? Birth rate or births minus deaths. So that will give you what? The natural growth rate of population. Rate, why it is rate? Because the rate at which the population is growing. Okay, the rate. So the natural, and the word is natural. So natural growth rate, the difference between the birth and death rates. Answer would be the first one. 90% of the world's population lives in 10% of its total area, 8%, 7%, 9%. Quite obvious. We have studied about that 90% of the world's population lives in 10% of its total area. 10% of its total area, and this in 10% of its total area, population lives, the world's population lives in about 10% of its area, and 10 most populous countries of the world contributes how much? 60% of the world's population. So on that basis, we can say that 10% of its total area, where 90% of the population, there is a tremendous pressure of 90% of the population, world's population is there on 10% of the land area. Now, India's population as per 2001 census, it is the data released by Government of India. Okay, so according to 2001 is given, the previous one 2001, and at present you can see that 1.33, whereas according to 2001 census the population was 1028 million. Now, which one of the following state has the highest density of population in India? It has been changed, but in NCERT what's given? West Bengal, UP, Kerala, Punjab. So West Bengal, okay, the density of population more than 1100. Now, which one of the following state has the highest proportion of urban population? Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Maharashtra and Gujarat. You can see industrializations, industrial pockets, okay, urbanization, urban areas, urban agglomeration. Where? In Maharashtra. So on that basis we can say that highest proportion of urban population according to 2001 census is Maharashtra. Then which one of the following is the largest linguistic group? Okay, largest linguistic group, what is given? Sino-Tibetan, Austric, Indo-Aryan and Dravidian. We have studied about the different language group, and we have already studied about the linguistic group. So among all linguistic group, this is what Indo-Aryan is one of the largest linguistic group, and linguistic group as well as one important one is as far as the percentage and the percentage especially is concerned, that has 73%. 70% among all the family of modern Indian languages. You can see here that this is about 73% comparatively to, or when you compare it with the Sino-Dravidian and Austric. Austric 1.38, Dravidian to 20%, and Sino-Tibetan 0.85%. So your answer would be your Indo-Aryan. Muslims, the largest religious minority, are concentrated in Jammu and Kashmir, right? Jammu and Kashmir, right? Which is very close to Pakistan, and West Bengal, UP, Karnataka, where you cannot see all these states that Muslims are living in all these states. But when you compare it with the Jammu and Kashmir, that is what Jammu and Kashmir, certainly you can see that the largest Muslim religious minority, Muslims, the largest religious minority group that is concentrated in Jammu and Kashmir. Marginal worker is a person who work less than, marginal worker is a person who work less than 183 marginal worker, or 194, or 176, 182. Your answer would be your 183, because what is given? Main worker. When you compare it with main worker, what do you see? That main worker is a person who works for at least 183 per days. Okay, so as far as marginal worker is concerned, they a person who works for less than, okay, 183. So your answer would be 183. Which phase of population is referred as population explosion? Population explosion, phase number 1, phase number 2, phase number 3, and phase number 4. And we have read about the phase number 1, that was 1901 to 21, then 2, phase 2, 21 to 51, and phase 3, 51 to 81. So this is called what? Population explosion. Remember that I have already taught you that the average annual growth rate was as high as 2.2%. Okay, and here what do you see? That there was high natural increase and higher growth rate. Therefore, we can easily see that phase number 3, in fact, phase number 3 or C, 51 to 81, that is your in which the population explosion took place. Then first population census was conducted in 72, 73, 74, and 75. 72, remember 72. Okay, why 72? Because in 71, what do you see here? That it was, in fact, 72, that was the first complete census was conducted. The first population census in India was conducted in 72, right? And the complete one took place in, or was conducted in, 1881. So on that basis, we can say that the first population census in India was conducted in 1872. Now, Indo-Aryan or Indo-European family constitutes the population percentage of 73%. I have already discussed with you 73%. Among all the other groups, that Indo-Aryan or Indo-European family constitutes the population of 73%. Which one of the following, 27th question, main reason for the male migration? Education, work, employment, business, and marriage. The most important or appropriate one is your B. Which one? Work and employment. Because male migrates due to this one. Which one? Work and employment. Then the 28th was, which one of the following state has the maximum number of immigrants? I have already discussed right now. UP, Maharashtra, Delhi, and Bihar. Immigrants. The people are coming. Okay? The people are coming. Right? Where? Which state? Maharashtra, because it offers number of jobs. There is a plenty of job opportunities. Okay, so the people get all types of job, whether it is in factories, industries, or in companies, or they can run their business, or or even in offices. So what is given, that which state? I mean the state like Maharashtra. Okay, the B. Now, in which of the wave of Indian diaspora engineers, consultants, media persons moved out? Remember, we have discussed about the Indian diaspora. Indian diaspora. Indian diaspora. What is that Indian diaspora? In which three fees. Remember, three fees. Right? The three fees. The first one, the first wave, the second wave, and the third wave of Indian diaspora. Remember, the first phase in which that the who went, laborers. In the second wave, that skilled and semi-skilled laborers. Right? Okay, and the third phase in which that the professionals, IT professionals, engineers, software engineers, they went. Okay. So, in which wave of the Indian diaspora, engineers and consultants, they in fact moved out in which phase? Engineers and Indian engineers and your what is given? Consultants in the second phase. Okay, in the second phase, engineers, professionals, and the Indian consultants, media persons. Right? Media persons, they also went there. And the third one, 30th, under the internal migration, there was 4 streams, 3 to 6. We have discussed about rural to rural, rural to urban, rural to urban, urban to urban. So it means on that basis we can say that 4, option A is your correct answer. Right? Under the internal migration there are 4 streams. Okay, in which year place of last residence and duration of stay were incorporated? 71, because additional information on place of residence and duration of stay at the place of enumeration were incorporated. Okay, so in 71. Right, in 71. Now, marriage migration of male in India is about marriage, because basically that the male migrates due to work and employment. So here what is given? Marriage migration. So marriage migration only 2%, not 6, 8 and 5, only 2%. Okay. Now, which one of the following urban agglomeration has the highest share of in-migrant population? Mumbai urban agglomeration, Bangalore, Delhi, and Chennai urban agglomeration. Among all these, Mumbai, because I have discussed with you that Maharashtra in-migrants, so Mumbai urban agglomeration. Okay, when you compare it with Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai, you can see Mumbai and the development of the suburbs, development of the outskirts, the fringes, here that has taken place. So, Mumbai urban agglomeration is the correct one. Okay, A. Now, which one of the following stream is dominated by male migrant in India? Rural to rural, rural to urban, urban to urban. It's quite obvious, rural to urban. Which one of the following stream is dominated by male migrants? Male migrants. That is they move from rural to urban areas. No matter in search of job or work or any other work, right? So basically they move from rural to urban areas. Place of residence is incorporated. Place of residence. Remember, place of residence is incorporated. Okay, whether in 61 and 71 and 73 or 74. So it would be census. Remember, the first major modification was introduced in 61 census. Okay, by bringing into, I have taught you, in 2 additional components, that was place of birth and the place and duration of residence. Duration of residence. So it was incorporated in 71. Okay, 71 incorporated. Last residence is incorporated in 71. Now, all migrations were covered under the time bound contract known as Girmit Act. I have taught you Girmit Act, in which there was an agreement between British and Indian government that the laborers they took whom I mean the British took all Indian laborers basically from Odisha, Bengal, Bihar. Okay, they took laborers to where, to African countries, to European countries, for and asked them to work in plantations states. Okay, so that was your Girmit Act. It cannot be covered under the time on contractors given. So contract cannot be your in migration, out migration, or seasonal migration. So answer would be your Girmit Act. Now, we can compare the earth with human's eye. 37 question. We can compare the earth with human's eyes, leg, hand and feet. Humans, remember, humans. Eye, leg, hand can never be, because it can be compared uh, not directly, but the face of the earth can be human's face. I mean the face. And you remember in the beginning I have discussed with you face of the earth that keeps on changing. Face of the earth, what is the meaning of that? I mean you can see somewhere that the upliftment, other in other parts you can see that the subsidence and all these, I mean the earthquake, the volcanic eruptions, subsidence, upliftment, right? Rift Valley, all these are formed and takes place where? On the face of the earth, I mean on the earth or on the surface of the earth. So we can compare it with the human's face. The period of 1990s was the period of postmodernism in geography. Yes, postmodernism in geography, right? The answer is postmodernism in geography, right? Because emergence of different school of thoughts, and then you can see that spatial organization or regional analysis, all these took place in later colonial period, then later late 50s to the late 60s, and emergence of different school of thought that took place in 70s. So postmodernism, what is given? Postmodernism. So postmodernism is that took place, that was the period, or 1990s was the period of postmodernism. So answer is your A. Dash is the copper belt in Africa, Zambia, Katanga. Now look at this: Somalia, well, Drakensberg. If you know about each one of the option, you can easily tick out, or you must have ticked out the first one, Zambia, Katanga, because Drakensberg is a mountain there, Veld is a grassland, and Somalia is a country. So Zambia, Katanga, that's an area where there is a huge and a large reserve of copper found in Africa. And the last one was your India has how many languages? Okay, on the basis of the states division, on the basis of the regional analysis, we can see that we have how many languages? 22 languages. Okay, so 22 languages based on what? The region wise, right? The different regions have the different languages. So on that basis you can see that, and one more thing, that if you look at the dialects, right, the dialects and the languages and all these, what do you see here? I mean as far as the language is concerned, that among the scheduled languages, that the speakers of Hindi have the highest percentage, isn't it? And you can see here that the smallest language groups are Sanskrit, Bodo, Manipuri speakers, isn't it? And in context to the modern India, or I must tell you about that India is a land of linguistic diversity, right? So we had, in fact, according to a linguistic survey of India of 1903 and 1928, there were 179 languages and as many as 544 dialects in the country. So in context of the modern India, there are about 22 scheduled languages and number of non-scheduled languages. So I think I have answered all questions. So I hope you must have done or given the answers in that way only after knowing the options. Okay, that's all about